Hello, welcome back. This is Debbie and Light Up Your Worth. I'm excited to share this episode with you where I interview Val Chris. I interviewed her back on episode 77 when we were talking about breaking away from good girl mentality. So I'll put that in the link too, so you can go back and reference that back. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited to be in season 4. And we're going to be talking with Val, who was my coach. We worked together for a year, and I'm going to really share some of the intimate details of the impactful journey of this personal transformation. It was profound. We're going to dive into the significance of finding the right coach or energy person you're going to work with and how that helps you identify your personal blocks. You cannot see the label from the inside of the jar. And really understanding how important it is and really vital to have trust in this relationship and how we were able to go through my personal journey of deep-seated fears and blind spots through her unique energetics and her direct style. I was able to really make some really big shifts. We're going to go through how do you go about identifying the right type of coach and the personal breakthroughs experience that you can have when you work with somebody and how they really can make significant exponentially jumps in your own journey. So I'm going to share that with you. So stay tuned as we jump in. Thank you. Welcome back to Light Up Your Worth. I'm so excited to be here. I'm kicking off this season with my coach. I'm revealing the big transformation I've been through this last year. So I've asked my coach, Val, to come on. I am so excited, Val, to have you here. If you recall, she was one of my guests in 2000. I will link that episode with these show notes so you can go back and take a look. I invited Val on because she's been my personal coach. I'm a coach, a breakthrough catalyst coach. Val is an incredible coach, yet we're different and we're the same in a lot of ways. This episode is going to be talking about why do you have a coach? How do you identify what type of coach is going to work for you? And what are you trying to improve in yourself? I firmly believe that you need to know what you're looking for, where you want some guidance and mentorship and coaching to be able to get to the end. I really want to jump into and talk about why did I hire my coach, Val?
I love it.
I decided that I had been working on my business and involved in different programs. I'm learning a specific skill, I'm learning a software, I'm learning how to write, I'm improving my own coaching. And what I realized is that I had some blocks, though I do my own energy work and I have a mentor. I didn't know my own blocks, my own resistance. We can't see that in ourselves. I talked to different people. I was trying to figure out the approach I needed. In my evaluation, did I feel connected to Val? We had been connected through multiple channels and a mutual friend. I decided I needed to uncover hidden blocks. And I didn't want a traditional like life coach. I wanted somebody who I knew I could connect with at a level that I could build the trust to understand and had their own healing ways with the frequencies. The last thing was that I didn't need somebody who wasn't going to tell me how it was. I didn't need somebody to constantly throw questions back at me. That wasn't what I was looking for. I needed to go deep into old things and have them excavated up so that I could address it. I needed your directness on that discovery call. I was really listening to myself as well as what you were saying with me. That was
Yeah.
powerful. That energetic frequency,
was what I was looking for. And you
Mm,
fit that.
I love that. Thank you for everything. I'm excited for this juicy conversation. It always comes back to trust, doesn't it? That's my
Mhm,
biggest conversation with you in the discovery call, in my marketing. It's about trust. We need coaching or guidance around trust. It's because our trust was broken from a young age. It happens to almost everyone. That's Earth School.
mhm,
It's a broken trust. We regenerate. And I love that you highlighted my directness and my unique approach. That's important. You know what you want on that clarity call. You have a vision, a big vision, and you're doing it for a long time. Many have a huge vision, follow it, and there's so much to transcend and embody mindset shifts, perceptional beliefs, energetic consistency, like being the thing over and over again. And that's trust. It takes trust to recognize that we want that. It takes trust to speak it into reality. It takes trust to live past those around us and talking natural, you're embodied. To be embodied means what seems outside of is now a part of you. We're
mhm,
talking about a one-to-one intimate relationship in a way. And it doesn't have to continue to be so intimate as we've been in the first year, but we needed it. If you've had a childhood or life experience where you learn to others and abandon yourself and not know how to witness and stick with yourself, you're not going to be okay in a group experience. You're going to want to develop a trust and embodiment of connection where you're not getting gaslit, where you're not being told no, where you're not being ignored, our life experiences. And then we begin to expect that to be reflected back to us. It can be so challenging to imagine. We feel it, we have the vision, but then in real time to imagine, hold the vision, and be the trust that outside of me will reflect love. Outside of me will tell me the truth in love, not slam the door and walk away or holler at me or attack me, right? Many of
mhm,
the clients that I work with and me experience so much painful intimacy that we don't
mhm,
know how to be it in group coaching experiences and even one-to-one coaching experience, feeling even more abandoned and more shame and more guilt because I've invested money and I'm still not addressing the core issue that needs for a while to be able to talk through my stuff every day for a
mhm,
while and have the other person be trustworthy, a leader, to have um a witnessing component that does I don't tell you what to do. Did I ever tell you what to do?
never
No,
told me
I will
what to
say
do because
this
you
is
would have
what
triggered
you're
something
talking,
else.
right?
Oh, no, that is not
Right.
like, I am not
Yeah.
that. I'm a spiritual rebel.
Right.
Do
And I think it's
not tell
important to
me what
highlight
to
like
do. Yes.
exactly, because and that's what my role is not to and I have had coaches who do tell me what to do, but they've listened sometimes the focal point is about where are you? What's going on? We get confused, blindsided, distracted, we get tired, we get into old habits of abandoning ourselves, forgetting who we are, and we get emotional. And all of that can make us feel really confused, lost, upset. And then we can create really bunk timelines based on a moment in time that if we just experienced more positive witnessing, being heard, and having that reflected back, some insight, intuition, energy, and frequency
Mhm,
to where you don't get stopped these road bumps, but you're actually like, oh, I see you're having a road bump, and I'm witnessing a response that reminds me of something like this. How does that resonate? Breathe through and beyond on the speed bump versus spinning for years, right? My clients, like some of the stuff we get into, y'all been doing for years. And I get it because I'm the same. I'm not above you, I'm not on a pedestal, but I am in a leadership position in our connections. You need that when you're going
mhm.
through stuff. You need a
Exactly.
strong, loving presence. How does that sound?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. I highly recommend that everybody identify where you're at because I was also in group programs working on learning some business stuff, podcasting, etc. I realized I'd come to this point in time where I love the communities. I love group programs, but I also realized that I needed to be seen and heard, really seen and heard. If I look back at this first year of coaching, energy, the connection, what was my tangible result? My tangible result is that I was able to learn how to surrender to myself.
That's huge.
I came to be consistently day after day. If I started to ping around or spin, it was that little old fashioned spin of kind of getting me back on track, connecting into my body so that I could connect back into my soul and purpose. Surrendering came through releasing with ease. And that's my tangible result. Who I was 12 months ago and who I am today is I am consistently surrendering to being.
Mm.
And when I am being, it is felt. When I'm
Yes.
spinning, I am out of alignment. I've been able to be in alignment. And when I have fallen out, I'm able to quickly get back in without
Right.
denying my feelings. I'm using those tools, whether it's the energy or verbalizing that I'm heard and witnessed, and I'm able to correct faster. I've learned about myself that all the shifts in the planetary energies, I had no idea how much aligned I was with that conscious energy happening when we would have spikes in the energy frequencies. When Schumann's resonance was like going off the charts or all the alignment, our monthly sessions, other than I had more Voxer support than anybody probably should ever be granted from a coach. Our sessions were always scheduled around the moon. And that made it even more powerful because for anybody who's worked with coaching, which I highly recommend, is the moment that you set the intention to have a session, stuff starts brewing within yourself to be released.
Yes. And you get to learn new ways to witness, process, and evolve through it. If you were left to your own, you could watch a video, you could watch one of my videos and I could tell you that. And you could listen to one of my pre-recorded frequencies and it would make you feel better. But working with me one to one, not only did you make that commitment to yourself, because I know when you first signed up, there was everybody has this moment where you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? Like, I made this big investment in myself. Am I going to abandon myself and lose my money again? Maybe you've had that experience before because it wasn't addressing what you needed. You're a smart lady, you work hard, get shit done. It's easy for any of us like that to just go do some more shit. And you were trying. I wanted to go back to like, where were you when we started?
Hmm.
And it wasn't that you weren't accomplishing things or didn't know what you were doing. You know what to do. Like my clients, I don't have to accountability. We don't need that. You're there. You're all about it. Business strategy. You're investing in it. You have that covered, but it's not working because there's some deep foundational underlying issues of reparenting and recalibrating how you relate to yourself and situations that gets to happen that then allows the strategy to be way more aligned and for it actually to work. That does require that repeated intimate conversation in the Voxer and these deep sessions that you are very aligned and in tune with the energy. And because I daily listen to astrology experts, I'm not an astrology expert, but I listen to it daily and witness real time. Oh, you're totally doing what they said we'd be doing
Yeah, right.
because of these. It was so fun to watch. It was like, oh my God, she's doing exactly what he said. Beyond the frequency, energy, and my blunt nature, it's also wisdom, right? You want to work with someone who has a level of life experience and wisdom. And I think it's interesting. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to this place. A lot of coaches who have a life partner that they got after not having a good one, and they have a lot of money, and they're like, there's things that they've embodied that we all want. And they say, don't work with somebody who hasn't embodied what you want. I'm just going to be transparent and say that I'm single. I haven't met my dude yet. And I ain't rolling in millions. But guess what I have embodied? Exactly what you wanted, which is deep
Hmm.
self-trust, to not abandon yourself anymore, to recalibrate your energy and understand how to process shame, guilt, fear. I know how to do that. And we don't talk about this enough in business. Everything's focused on dollar bills, social life, Instagram. People have a set of programs we get to deactivate and bring in the divine frequency and flow with it and surrender. That is where we are in humanity. What I'm teaching you and what you're going to share with your people is gold, and it's cutting edge. Knowing yourself, trusting yourself, backing yourself, leaving yourself. This is where we are as humans right now on this planet. We are receiving incredible amounts of energy from the sun. Now, when you look at a plant and it gets sun, what happens to it? It blossoms,
Yeah, it thrives.
changes,
Hmm.
it thrives, but it changes. There's growth that happens and they shift. We were born in a time and programmed to thinking things are going to stay this way. And if you have to do all these things to be a decent person and you have to kiss this kind of ass. And none of it's true. None of it's true. You need someone abrupt like me to go, that's not going to work. Loving too, because your inner child needs to be seen and heard. I think that's one of the things that I'm really focused into and attuned to is your inner child. Because guess who's running the show most of the time? That programming we get from 1 to 7 years old. That's our mindset.
It's based upon so much science.
It is. I don't even get into that in my. I don't even
I
talk about
do.
that, but
I do. I
yeah.
like to share with people everything I've learned, this inner child work. I call it the subconscious mind. I want to bridge that gap for listeners. If you've heard those terms, the inner child, your subconscious mind, our subconscious mind is tied to our experiences up to about age 7. That's why you'll see programs for like positive childcare in impoverished areas or non-impoverished areas where they want to really get in and have a different influence over the children and how much we're influenced by our social conditioning so that we're raised to be nice, kind individuals, but we also experience so much. We hear so much on the radio, TV, or school. We may not remember what somebody said, but we remember how they made us feel. Your work helped me excavate deep seated fears that were so embedded, I didn't even recognize them. We had a pivotal moment
Yeah.
between month 3 and 4. It takes the
Mhm.
first 90 days to go beyond a regular level of trust. I think you drop down deeper into
Yeah.
yourselves and your coach. And
Yes.
I had
Yes.
this huge breakthrough. I was getting caught up in all the to dos. I like a schedule. I think a lot of people can relate to this being single moms. You can relate to, you got a lot on that list. I was moving along this list. I had these moments of feeling a little overwhelmed, which can happen easily as a solopreneur as well as the corporate job I hold and the podcast and my own clients. It came to this moment in time where it's just too much. Maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, where's my return on what am I doing with the podcast and my own coaching practice? I felt like it was almost like the Cher movie where she says to the guy, "Snap out of it," right?
Yeah, I
And
love that.
and you did not say this to me, but inside myself, I this huge, ugly place I went to where I was just this hot mess. And I got funky for this period of time. And I happened to be off work because it was the holidays. I was able to sit with that. What was this? Why am I doing all of this? What was the financial return on everything I've done for 20 years? When was it gonna show? I had so much stuff coming out that I didn't even notice it. It was flowing like this river. I had to surrender and realize my purpose. My purpose is simply being. If I was myself connected into that surrender of letting go, releasing expectations at a level I have never experienced. I've placed my order very clearly with the universe and letting go of that attachment, bam, that
That's
surrender.
huge.
If if you haven't had it, you'll have multiple versions. It's ugly. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's the most
Yeah.
uncomfortable in that giving up is when the greatest miracles happen.
So true. We want so badly, and we're gridlocked into controlling stuff, especially a woman like you or me. We worked hard for what we got and we had to show up for others and ourselves. I'm the bridge with you. I'm there holding your hand, standing there, letting yourself see and witness that part of you that hasn't served you any longer and being okay with that. Parts of you that have gone deaf and dumb and numb. I come in and I flick all the switches on energetically. It just happens, right? It just
Mhm.
happens. And on the other side of that, it's not gaslighting you. My other clients are, no, I'm right in there with you, rolling up my sleeves. Good stuff. Great work. Like you feel like you're doing something good because that can be really hard to invest your money situation where you're trying to juggle everything. Then you feel crazy and going through all this stuff. Like, the heck? Like, I've had clients quit after month 5 because they don't want to go through it again. They didn't have the courage and the strength, the tenacity to get through to month 6 and the year. There's more to go after year 1. Have it be more and more what you're creating within yourself. I never want
Yes.
anybody to be codependent or addicted to me. I'm reflecting back to you your brilliance, your wisdom, your gifts, your alignment. It's a playing field where you get to practice. You've shown up to practice so many times.
Yes, in that surrender process. Sometimes you hear Dark Night of the Souls. I had so many expectations put upon me through my beliefs, through society conditioning about what I thought was showing up, doing the work, doing deep work on myself and generational traumas. I'm committed to clearing out generational traumas, doing the work. And through that process, letting go as my coach, you witnessed it, and I didn't fall off. Like, I feel like I was going through the Grand Canyon. I was so deep, and I didn't wanna fall off the bridge. Like, it's so, so raw, so uncomfortable, and yet I wasn't there alone. I was not there alone. That's the price of admission in the commitment to myself. Because the more I heal, the more I am a clear channel in my
Purpose. The reason not being alone is so important is that we've spent a lot alone where we didn't feel like anybody was there. in a marriage or as a child or in our youth, we develop coping mechanisms and ways of surviving that numbed out, turned off, and muted parts of ourselves. Those parts of ourselves will be heard, they will be seen and revived. Otherwise, you don't reach alignment, purpose, and you find yourself out of balance. Describe with that in mind, where were you before this recalibration, before you went into the void? How would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as a high execute, deeply committed to serving others with their healing, as well as continually striving to be who I am and to develop as a greater human in this earth experience. I have been committed for many years that I am here to help others in this path, that I perhaps am a step ahead of somebody else, and I am holding my arm back and helping somebody come along so that they also do not feel alone. I believe that the spiritual awakened those of us conscious. And if 2000 woke up millions of people, I'm on my journey long before that. You were on your journey. We started this journey through painful experiences that jolted us. When you study change, that is what creates change. There's a space within us that feels empty and lonely. We struggle to accept all parts of ourselves, the dark, deep stuff that we don't share with friends, we don't share with family, because we all have our roles within our family, within the culture, within our environment, our neighborhoods, our spouses, our parenthood, pet ownership, all of it. We all have our roles that we resonate with. The only way to make breakthrough changes is to break through those paradigms. To break through your own paradigms, you need a witness because you simply cannot see your own blind spots.
No.
There's a reason why, if you have a car built in the last 10 years at least, why on your mirrors, if somebody gets close, it might beep or it makes a light, or we have backup lights now because you may not see something and your car will beep when you go to back up. It tells you somebody's coming. It tells you somebody's in your area. Now, before we did that, why do we think the car manufacturers created that? Because people were bumping into stuff. They didn't see it. Blind spots.
Mhm.
And we have them as humans. Can you go onto YouTube and find great stuff? I have recordings, you have recordings. But that one-on-one connection is really when you're ready to up level. Without a doubt, you are meant for more.
Yeah.
You are meant for more, and people are waiting for you to fully embody and show up as yourself.
Yes. And I would love to hear you describe some of those blind spots you discovered and how did we discover them?
I'm always open. That's my middle name, vulnerability. I was so familiar with how I would do things. Even something as simple as how we prepare to go to we have these patterns, these habits of what happens when you get tired. For me, it's when I'm tired mostly. I would find my thoughts in these loops. And I honestly don't think that I would have been able to even expand and realize that some of those loops were occurring. I don't think I would have been able to recognize when I was in one of my own paradigms, one of my own loops.
It's so natural to you. And I
Mhm.
can see it. I see it and I call it out. That's the gift of working with an intuitive guide. I'm not a traditional life coach. The gift of working with someone like you or me is that we see stuff, feel it, and know it. We also have the wisdom on how to share way that it doesn't sting or it doesn't hurt. I could share something that remember
Mhm.
is an experience you had when you were in it. You were very emotional. All I could see was your little girl. She felt like she did something wrong. And it was, in that loop. If I were in that, all I would feel overwhelming emotion of scared and confused I didn't want to do anything wrong. All I wanted to do was be helpful and do the right. I didn't mean to fuck up. I fucked up and now I'm a loop and everybody hates me. That's where from the outs mentor and guide, you're and loving on you. It's wow, you're in that loop and we need to do parenting here. We did a lot that didn't have to happen to you because you got in there. You had all memories. You had some really traumatic things happen in going from childhood and on. That's life, right? And life can jar you and you can get trapped in a moment. How you cut the time got you through and you're still operating on. I can come in and help. It's almost like you're in a corner turning around in circles in that moment. I'm like, "Come with me, let's come out of the corner, baby's not in the corner."
Yeah.
Just realization of, "Oh, I was in the corner and I didn't know." That can
Mhm.
be overwhelming, and that's, I think, where the frequency and the light language eases. Would you agree that that's
Yes.
maybe not
Yes.
here to go through? That's hard to explain. Can you talk about that a little? It's like music, right? It's literally audio.
Yes, if I had to explain light language, which is a gift that you bring, it's listening to music. You've put on music that's in a different language, but it feels so soothing. If I think about the Italian language, there's something soulful when you hear talking or singing, and the light language that would come through, though I cannot understand, it was a message that I knew that my soul was listening to. It was that deep breath in, holding it, and letting it go. Communicating directly through my soul, not through my mind, through my soul. The message would be released through my body, through all my DNA, through all my cells, through multiple timelines, conscious and unconscious. It was like a big hug energetically. Now, as an intuitive, I can feel this love wrapped around me, feeling so connected to my own self, my soul is receiving the light language. Sometimes we would Voxer. That's part of our experiences, the Voxers and the sessions and the recordings for the audience is receiving that. There were times it would come through. There were times I could really use some light language and it would come through and I would receive this message and close my eyes and receive this gentle energy that was very powerful in the same way as it was soft. That with that support being seen and as my own trust continually was reflected back to me to trust myself. Because as you've mentioned, we grow up and we do listen to ourselves. And along the way, we stop. It's almost like that old Supertramp song. We get taught to be logical and responsible. And it's not that we don't need those skills. We need the left and the right brain. But in our society, we constantly value the logical over the emotional. And yet we are emotional beings having this experience. That's what makes us different is those range of emotions, being able to surrender in and connecting in with my body, also through the breath work, which I have resistance to and resistance. But when I do it, like we all do, then I settle down. It's almost like when you see a small child, 2 to 3, and they're having those moments, the little meltdown moments, and then they fall asleep. The breath work is almost like falling back to sleep. It's that restful moment where you're reconnecting with yourself.
You named it. Biggest tangible result you got was surrender. My work is about collaborating with the divine through your body and your being. And when we're so busy to the program, doing what the program has taught us, we are distracted, disconnected from the divine. My job is to let you not only witness where you're numb and blind and tuning out and disconnected from divinity, but and to plug you back in to God, to yourself, divine nature, because everything's so much easier when we do. Certainly made easy. The
Mm,
program wants to hold on, and the identity wants to hold on, and the connections to the unhealthy connections, we will cut them off and recalibrate them so they are infused with heart love. Your heart, your organs and tissues and blood cells and DNA is awakened and aligned to the divine. How much more powerful are we when we're into the divine and surrendered and allowing and paying attention in messages instead of being on a program that's that isn't working for us, that's then making us emotional, and when we're repeating cycles over and over again that will not have if somebody doesn't have the sense to come in and go, hey, come here, take a deep breath. Here's what's going on. How do we get out of this together? If you're in a certain level deep, you're just not going to do it on a YouTube video. So I'm sorry.
You are, and I think that is a really important message that I really want to convey, that if you are serving others, value yourself to invest in somebody who's going to hold that space for you. Let me repeat that. If you are holding space for somebody else, whether it's a group program or healing modality or along the spectrum, all the different coaches, you're a leader. Who is holding that space for you to continually process? Because every day is a new experience. It's almost an injustice to ourselves when we don't do that. Look at the big names out there. You can go look at the Oprahs, the Mel Robbins, the Gabby Bernsteins. They all have multiple sources of resources around them to support them as they serve huge audiences. They're not doing it alone. We're not meant to do this alone. We all need support through this process, these journeys, because it's extraordinary.
It's
Mhm.
been phenomenal. I started breath work several months into our work together. I'd been through a lot. I'd been through divorce. I woke up. I saw my blind spots. I started doing healing energy and publishing books. I've done a lot. 8 years in my journey, I started this deep dynamic breath work. And the last 3 years have been challenging. I had a lot weighing on me. My brother died, the divorce was heavy, my business a lot. And the breath work really revealed to me how many blind spots I had in my own journey and where I was emotionally shrouded in this. I always uplift for others, but I was shrouded in the heavy blanket gets to melt away with my daily practice. I have a daily practice. And when I don't do it, and I do my own work now too, my own frequencies and yawn and come out my eye. I'd love for you to speak to the resistance to the breath work. People get resistant to doing this work. Our mind will tell us that's weird, especially if you've been on the
Mhm.
planet a minute and you're the old way of doing things. Like,
Mhm.
what is this? I don't think in this day and age, if you're a passionate, purposeful, soul led person, you can get away with not doing daily. Otherwise, you will go somewhere you don't want to go. Talk about getting resistance and doing the daily work and what has that done for you?
I believe that the breath work, what I've experienced in my own resistance is really uncomfortable. What I do know is that as humans, we don't use all of our capacities to breathe as deep. We're attuned to shallow breathing. Athletes are aware of this, yogis, type of folks. They teach you how to breathe deeper. And when you do different types of meditation, they want you to go deeper and hold your breath. That's part of it. There's something about what changes in the oxygen level with our brains as well to be able to chemically in the science part of it to connect into yourself. And everything that I'm constantly been reading, it keeps saying, and you're breathing and you're breathing. And I'm like, okay, God, I got the message. Once I start, it's like any new practice, whether it's the breath work, it's meditation, it could be a walking meditate to connect with myself. I can do it here quickly. It's walking through the uncomfortableness of learning how to let go. It's a different form of surrender. The days I do it, I feel more connected. My day goes different. My intentions are clear. And I'm able to shake off whatever dust I might have on me that morning or let go of a dream that showed up, a subconscious message through my dreams, or maybe I didn't get enough sleep. But the breath work just connects me back into my own physical body and bring me awareness. I believe it's so easy for us to go numb
Yeah,
because we're used to operating in that structure. Do you drive to work and know how you got there? Do you think about putting on makeup as a girl or picking out your clothes? You're an autopilot most of your day. Drive
yes.
so many things. We have to do some things on autopilot. Otherwise, everything would be new every day, like that Drew Barrymore movie. She
Oh,
wakes up
right,
and can't
right.
remember every day. There's a reason we have some of those, but that doesn't mean all the big stuff. We need to wake up, and it helps you be more present through the ups and downs or the learning, as I call them.
When you're doing the dynamic breath work, I'm being taught and sharing. It's like weightlifting. You actually you're bringing less oxygen body when you overbreathe. You're not bringing more oxygen in, you're bringing less. When you're depriving those cells and the dead, dull ones, it's like a baby slap when you come to life and you breathe, saying, "Hey, wake up." No wonder your brain trips and doesn't want to do it. It's intense. Like when you first work out, you don't necessarily want to work because it's going to hurt or it's going to, but then you have abs, strength, vitality, hurting muscles to rebuild them. That's what is doing internally, depriving cells of oxygen, recalibrate blood flow. Also, you're in a theta quickly, rapidly. Some people journal for 2 hours a day. I don't. I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom. I can do a 15-minute breath work or a 10-minute fuck yeah frequency because it takes you deep into that hypnosis state. And because of the nature of the way we do the breath work, not only is I'm a music, the music is on point, but the programming, what am I saying? We're doing breath work or the frequency work. We're highlighting affirmations and things that if you do them over and over again, something would happen. I'm sorry, not to us gals that are 50. We need to revitalize the cells, the energy, and then do the programming when we're
Mhm,
in that suggestible state. And we got to do it every other day or all the time. We have to keep
mhm,
going. Just you play an instrument or work out, become a master at something. Mastering your emotional, energetic self means you show up instantly every day to create a compounded result. You've done
mhm.
that. You did a whole year. You showed up every day, week, month, and payment. You're different on the other side. I would love to hear you describe yourself on the other side. You were busy trying to do things, you were overthinking, you weren't really in your body.
Mhm,
You had a when you would have an emotional trigger, it would last longer. It would derail you more deeply and it'd be harder to come back because you're upset or
mhm.
tired for a few days, crying month 4, month 5. You're like, I'm knowing what to do and working through. So where are you now after a year of calibrated consistency?
Life didn't slow down. I'm in a relationship now. I'm cohabitating with my partner who is engaged in the whole light up your worth experience. There's been some other ups and downs in life without going into details. What's happened is that I'm able to be. I have really understood when I'm out of alignment, how it impacts everybody. I'm not talking about suppressing how I'm feeling. I still feel all the feels. I allow it to come out and then I release it and I move on faster. I stand taller. My light shines brighter. My eyes are clear. There's a different vibe around me. My own frequency is more consistent and less of the dips.
And that is more productivity.
Yes, it's definitely more, it's in the tangible ways that it shows up is that when I'm in a struggle, I'm able to work on whatever it is and not let it stall me. I'm not self doubting. I really understand my own uniqueness and I own it without
And
apologies.
that is the result working with the Valtopia Fokia frequency,
Mm,
owning your frequency. What
s-
does it feel
mm.
like to own your frequency?
It's a confidence of owning your own worth at a level that I can't say I've ever experienced. I was a confident, get things done kind of person, high execute. But I don't question myself. I don't compare myself. I didn't compare myself a lot, but it's definitely like diminished to where it's almost non-existent because we're all imperfect, perfectly human beings. If it comes up, if I do find myself doing something like a comparison or momentarily lack of, can I do this? Oh, yeah, you can. Let's do this. Let's go. Being able to get myself right back in to where I was. If I had to measure on the Likert scale, of 1 to 10, where 10 is how you're feeling, super high, 1 is that I think that my confidence would somewhere go between 6 and 8 on any given day. Sometimes it would drop to a 4 on some of those really rough days. What I find is like now consistently I'm on the higher level of the grid. I think we can all do that. You can all range on what is your own confidence level now and trusting yourself when you're doing something new and uncertain because really there is no certainty about anything. There's no guarantees. There's no money back on this experience. Being able to walk through that uncertainty and remain confident, truly confident in your own worth and my own worth has been life changing.
Because we have ourselves. If we have this dance with ourselves where la la la, how's that going to work out?
Yeah,
We get to stop and be with ourselves. No, no one can take this from you.
correct. Nobody can ever take this. It doesn't matter who I've studied with, what degrees, what certifications. Nobody can take this away, whether I'm partnered or whether I live in any state or country. Nobody can take this away from me. It is mine.
Got your back. Is that going to inform your coaching and mentoring business and support you give to clients?
Yes, I believe our work has helped amplified my own level by simply showing up, focused on my clients, how much deeper the work goes for them. Really leaving yourself out when showing up and holding the space because my channel is clear.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't help somebody else if you're working on your stuff. We're all working on stuff. Every
Yeah.
single one of us, whether you're Tony Robbins or Oprah or us, there's always something that they're working on. And that's why they surround themselves with their own support, their own resources. And I think we're no different. We all need support. Sometimes it's a program, sometimes one on one coaching. We deserve to invest in ourselves at that one on one coaching when you're ready to make that next up level. And then you
Yeah.
make the next up level, and then you make your next up level. And whatever that's going to look like for your own life, for your own success, building a business, moving ahead in your corporate role, being a better parent, showing up for yourself, your kids, your life. Not going in cycles of needing clarity is worth it.
It's been an absolute pleasure to witness the strength you have and the trust you have. See your trust when in those moments you couldn't. I could see your vision because you shared it with me when you were in the fog and you came through and that experience of coming through these dark nights is wisdom and mastery. I think more heart-led entrepreneurs get to use guides who are real and authentic, have a lived experience that mirrors yours, but is just a few steps ahead, or even it's not even about it being ahead. You feel their confidence and strength to witness and hold and guide you through that up level. A reboot means there's going to be some dart, there's going to be ego death, there's going to be recalibration. A lot of marketing leads us to believe it's all about money, external validation, and that once we have internal, we'll shift. No, it won't. You can get all the money for people who make money more readily, appeal to more people, or say the right thing, or they have a better marketing. Is their inside all good? Do they trust themselves? Do they feel fucking fuck yeah inside of themselves for the rest of their? I don't think so. For a mentor and you really believe in yourself, get started now. It takes time to root, and it's like a garden. We have to till the soil, to nourish the soil, and for a while you may not see any stems or blossom, but you know what you're doing. Then when the blossoms come, you got to rework the soil and the roots and keep watering. It's a process.
It is. One of my favorite sayings is to trust the process.
And yeah. Did you recognize pillars of my process, things that you were like, oh, we're doing this. I know what I'm doing here.
No, I can't say that I did, even as a coach and looking at process. But
Yeah.
no, I just leaned into it, committed to it, but I did not see a process.
Do you think they had given you the process? Would you have liked it, or was it helpful to be led through the?
I think my mind might have liked to seen a process.
Yeah, it's about getting out of your mind and into your body, isn't
For myself, I needed to get out of my mind and into my body. For me, it was another way to step into self-trust and trust the process.
Also, my clients know how to do shit and they can be control freaks because it has been a way of being safe. And that part of my process is triggering you to release the reins, lean back a little bit so that you can receive and to open up. I've had clients get upset, like, I need a PDF or something. And I'm like, no, you don't. Actually, my process is about feeling. It's about feeling what's happening in your body, naming emotion, witnessing yourself, and tying that into the modalities I use. Light language, frequency. Oh, I'm bringing a freak in. Let me know what resonate. How does this feel? What insight is new? And going with that. It's about identifying, being aware of yourself. It's about bringing you into your body, disconnect the program, the mind, and then recollaborating. That's a whole part of the process. Once we get through the breakthrough with feeling and awareness, being okay with feeling a little weird and being in the void.
Val, I would love for people to be able to reach out to you. How can they reach you?
Thank you. I loved this conversation so much and excited to keep having it and growing and expanding and inviting more. I invite you who is listening, who is lit up by this conversation, more about Valtopia, my movement and my platform and the fuck yeah free. You can come to valtopia.com. There's a free offering, the fuck yeah breath journaling, so you can sit down and listen to I've created the music myself journaling, and there's a breath flow that you can do. And if you're ready to dive in, you can get started on my website, and you can reach out to work with me. I only have a few spots, so just go to valtobre.com and explore, and always in with me, sign up for my mail list, and you'll be knowing about all the stuff that I'm bringing forward all the time. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Val. I'm so honored that you joined me here so I can share our experience and even a bigger net, really, of people understanding what happens when you're working with somebody individually. Because could I have gotten where I'm at today? Perhaps. It might take me 3 or 4 years to get there. But why would I drive on a bumped up dirt road when I can get on the highway where it's clean and there's a process? Doesn't make
Love it.
sense. So, for anybody who's been considering working with anybody, whether it's myself or Val or any of the amazing guests I've had on here, know that you need to align with somebody who is going to help you expand at a greater level quicker. You're going to get there and you're going to go through their process of what's going to get you where you want to go with whatever intentions you are setting. Go find your person.
It takes you deeper, and you don't go back as much because you're in support and you are constantly being invited to more and more, versus when you're by yourself, it's easy to go, I don't need to do this, or let me just slip back into these blankies.
If anybody wants to compare this type of work with other support systems out there, right? Whether it's AA, Weight Watchers, NA, or Overeaters Anonymous, there's a reason, or health people who have different health issues in their lives, cancer support teams. There's a reason why these supports are there. It's documented that having support gets you there faster. We can all do things by ourselves, but we're not meant to do this alone. Go find your person and see you on the next episode.